So how do you feel about this travel warning overnight, Jillian, where Jewish people have been advised not to travel here for non-essential trips?
Well, I think it is very concerning, but it's not the first time. There have been previous travel warnings in relation to what's happening in Australia. And I think it's a reflection of the fact that anti-Semitism at this stage, really for some time in Australia, has been at an unacceptable level. And it's political leadership, but it's also, we've seen over the year, a lack of university leadership. I'm pleased to say that those university leaders are now very focused on changing things, turning things around, putting in place better policies, training, and having a university sector that is much more welcoming to everyone next year. We have a long way to go, but it's a whole of society thing. We have to say, as a community, as political leaders, as business leaders, as university leaders, that it is unacceptable that we have weekly protests taking over our cities, that we can allow protests outside or gatherings outside places of worship. That should be banned. And that we should have restrictions, I believe, on where these demonstrations take place.
So when you say, and I have to close here because I'm out of time, but when you say there's multiple failures across the board here, how much of a role is the government playing in all of this? And we can put the federal and state governments together, in particular in Victoria. Is it because, and the rise of anti-Semitism here in the country, which is completely out of control, and you're right, it is unacceptable, but do you put it down to this vote against Israel at the UN? Or do you put it down to this placing of a moral equivalence between anti-Semitism and Islamophobia, which is just not at the same levels? The firebombing on Friday proved that.
Well, Pete, I think anti-Semitism is an age-old hatred that is like a virus, and it morphs depending on the times and the circumstances, and everything contributes to it. Okay, it's complicated. It's not one thing, but it is a mixture of rhetoric, the legal regime, police enforcement, what is tolerated. And I do think I go back to October 9 in front of the Sydney Opera House, where that was accepted. A group of people burning the Israeli flag, saying F the Jews, and nothing happened. And the Jewish community of Sydney was asked to stay away. Now that set the tone that we have to change around the country. Jewish people are integral to the life of Australia amongst the First Fleet, and we need to all feel safe in this country, all groups. And the community has to support that, as well as our political leadership.
That's Jillian Segal there. Appreciate your time, Jillian. Thank you.